find out yet if the air is breathable, and there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Hello? Oh, yeah!
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the best, most intriguing, and most convincing fan theories for the many movies from Pixar.
They're experts! Experts, Bob! Exploiting every loophole, dodging every obstacle! They're penetrating the bureaucracy!
Number 20, The Shared Universe.
All right, we're excited. First day of school, here we go. We're ready to learn, to get some knowledge.
We'll get things started with the grandest and most all-encompassing Pixar theory out there, that the movies all exist in the same universe. They may seem like separate stories, only sometimes tied to their sequels, but fans have long suspected that, actually, every single film is linked.
Help me!
First time?
Of course it is!
The theory dates back to at least 2012, when a comedy skit by Cracked inspired the writer John Negroni to really go to town. Among the many bits of claimed evidence is the Luxo ball, which from Toy Story onwards can be seen in the background of various other films. There's also the famous A113 Easter egg, inserted into multiple movies as a nod to the number of the classroom, where several key animators learned their trade. Ultimately, the shared universe is Pixar's version of a theory of everything, and it's something that countless other ideas tap into.
That's a nice story.
It's not just a story, Merida. Legends are lessons, they ring with truth.
Number 19, Magic Beginnings.
Long ago, the world was full of wonder.
While there are many variations on the shared universe suggestion, Brave is one of perhaps 3 movies that continually crops up as a possible starting point. We'll get to the other 2 later in the video. With Brave, though, the key figure is the witch. Her true identity we'll also cover shortly, but it's her magic in general that theorists claim is responsible for, well, for everything.
You're a witch! Woodcarver! That's why the wisps led me here! Woodcarver!
Living toys, talking animals, scary monsters, superhero families, the whole caboodle is caused by her ancient and mystical powers. Of course, we do see her turning animals and inanimate objects into seemingly sentient beings. The idea, then, is that this gets passed on and on and on until it permeates the entire world.
You're sure? If I give this to my mom, it will change my fate?
Oh, trust me. It'll do the trick, dearie.
Number 18, One Cape.
What is it? Who are you? What do you want? Oh my God, you've gotten fat.
The first of our more specific theories, and it centers on the leading light of superhero fashion, Edna Mode. Voiced by the Incredibles director Brad Bird, she delivers one of Pixar's best-known lines.
Nuggets!
But there's clearly a rich and complicated backstory to those 2 iconic words. Edna explains how past supers have suffered and died thanks to their capes, and she seemingly carries guilt because of that. However, one theory says that Edna, realizing that Buddy, aka Syndrome, was a supervillain in the making, rode back on her one rule when she made his suit. It isn't in the movie, and it would add an unexpected layer of brutal darkness to Edna's character, but could she really have been scheming towards Syndrome's demise all along?
You know I'm retired from hero work.
As am I, Robert. Yet here we are.
Number 17, Onward is Andy's imagination.
You know, in the old days, centaurs could run 70 miles an hour.
I own a vehicle, don't need to run.
Perhaps more than any other movie, Onward is a tricky fit into the supposedly shared universe. However, just before its 2020 release, Super Carlin Brothers led the charge for one theory that has never really gone away, that the entire film exists inside the head of Andy from Toy Story. The 2 main reasons why this does make some sense are that 1, Andy clearly has a seriously rich imagination. We know this from the very first scene of Toy Story.
Are you gonna come quietly?
Can't touch me, Sheriff. I brought my attack dog with a built-in force field.
Well, I brought my dinosaur who eats force field dogs.
But also 2, Andy apparently doesn't have a father figure in his life. And Onward is all about its main characters striving for one last moment with their dad. Alternative Onward theories include that it could all be happening on another planet, sometime around the time of WALL-E. But the inside Andy's mind idea just feels a little more right.
Whatever it takes, I am gonna meet my dad.
You hear that, Dad? We're going on a quest!
Number 16, Abby is Boo.
So are you sleepy? You wanna sleep? Is that what you want? Huh?
Cute and unassuming as she seems throughout most of Monsters, Inc., Boo ranks among the key players in a lot of fan theories. Here specifically, the claim is that she grows up to become Abby, one of May's best friends in Turning Red.
Abby, hit me.
The offered evidence includes that both characters apparently like pink and purple, both have the same fringe and similar features, and both like flowers, either on their clothes, Abby, or on their door, Boo. There are some issues surrounding the timeline, though. In most readings of the shared universe, the time between when Monsters, Inc. and Turning Red takes place isn't long enough for Boo to have grown into Abby. However, there are potential solutions out there, including that Boo and Abby are sisters, and that the doors in Monsters, Inc. transport through time just as much as through space.
Hello? Anyone? There's a door here.
Number 15. Grown-up Sid saved toys, and then he died.
Why is that soldier strapped to an explosive device?
That's why. Sid.
Ooh, sure is a hairy fella.
No, that's Scud, you idiot. That is Sid.
Sid is the original Pixar villain, but does this one-time toy-mangling horror kid actually turn into a good guy? First, there's possibly grown-up Sid's cameo in Toy Story 3 as a garbage collector. Most of us might have updated our wardrobe by his age, but the skull shirt is clearly visible. Next, though, there's a popular idea, notably featured by Cracked, that Garbage Man Sid's life work is actually now to save toys, because he's the only person alive who knows that toys are also alive. It's said that he works in garbage as an adult, so that he can retrieve lost toys, which is also why there's a distinct lack of other toys when Woody and Co. end up almost dead in the incinerator. They aren't there because Sid saved them. Either way, he's a character who himself seemingly does die at some point, as shown by this briefest of brief moments in Coco. Number 14. The Tree of Pixar Life.
Being little's not such a bad thing.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's two.
Is not.
It's two.
Is not.
It's
It's
two,
not.
it's
It's not.
two,
It's not.
two.
It's not. Oh. A seed. I need a seed.
One of the key settings in Pixar's second movie, A Bug's Life, is the tree. And perhaps one of the simpler of all the films are linked theories out there is that 10 years after the release of that film, in 2008 when WALL-E comes out, we see that same tree at the beginning of its life. It's the then tiny shoot that WALL-E and Eve plant together.
We can go back home for the first time! What's it like now?
If true, it means that A Bug's Life happens after WALL-E, along the fan theory timeline, and in what appears to be a mostly post-human world. There are a couple of potential flaws here, as a tree that's at least similar also appears in Toy Story 2, and Up. But then again, could it be that those trees simply gave the seed for the tree in WALL-E and A Bug's Life? It's hardly the strangest jump we've made today.
Now, do you see our tree? Everything that made that giant tree is already contained inside this tiny little seed. All it needs is some time, a little bit of sunshine and rain, and voila!
Number 13. WALL-E started the apocalypse. Sticking with WALL-E, and clearly, the world at the beginning of this story has seen better days. Something's happened so that it's just rusty landscapes of ruin and trash as far as the eye can see. Grown-up Sid, if he ever did exist, has long since left his job, and yet, there's hope thanks to one lovable robot. Except, there's a theory to turn that characterization on its head. Seeing as WALL-E is so resourceful, some have mused that maybe it was he that caused the end of the world to begin with. Maybe his keen eye for treasures and his tendency to hoard is what destabilized the planet toward its dusty downward spiral? More disturbingly, he doesn't seem to mind cannibalizing all the shut-down robots and machines that he's alone with. Could it be then that a younger WALL-E somehow doomed everything, and we only meet him when he's desperately trying to make amends?
Even? WALL-E? Eva?
Number 12. Wood is magic. Here we have another key element to many of the more all-encompassing Pixar theories. Above all other materials in the movies, wood is imbued with magical qualities.
That's ridiculous. Wood cannot be imbued with magical properties. I should know. I'm a wee whittler of wood.
The most obvious example is with the doors in Monsters, Inc., where the only non-wood door appears when our characters have been banished. But also, the Witch and Brave lives out her life as a wood carver.
Welcome to the Crafty Carver, home of fair-themed carvings and novelties. I am completely out of stock at this time.
We're getting closer to another key revelation here, but for now, let's stick with the wood specifically. Again, we have the significance of the plant in WALL-E and the tree in A Bug's Life, but also, there are plenty of scenes and movies where the absence of wood seems key, not least Cars, which we'll cover soon, and with a crucial film for our next entry, Up. Number 11, the by and large takeover. The, notice predominantly wooden house in Up, is under massive threat at the beginning of the movie, as Carl Fredricksen is forced to float away to Paradise Falls following a demolition and rebuilding job on his neighborhood.
Well, just to let you know, my boss will be happy to take this old place off your hands and for double his last offer. What do you say to that? Take that as a no, then.
Those behind the high-rise expansion are the by and large group, an ever-present conglomerate in the Pixar world. We see them clearest in WALL-E, when the planet has been ravaged and the husks of their product are all that's left.
I think... Huh? Time to go. Okay, I'm giving override directive A113. Go to full autopilot, take control of everything, and do not return to Earth. Repeat, do not return to Earth. Let's get the heck out of here.
Before then, though, the B&L branding appears on Buzz's batteries, on the racetrack in Cars, we know they ran newspapers, took over governments, contributed to global obesity. The list is pretty much endless. The logo is another vital part to theories everywhere, as the company itself represents an apparently anti-commercialistic stance taken by Pixar with every story they tell.
Because at B&L, space is the final frontier.
Number 10, alternate timeline.
Hold on, it's not that easy. You've got to earn your mark by doing something big, for something bigger than yourself.
Halfway through this countdown, and evidently, most fan theories can be tied in with other fan theories, somewhere along the line. Under the umbrella of the shared universe model, it's up to the fan to interpret what they see, which leads to an ever-expanding field of possibility.
What the heck is that?
Who puts broccoli on pizza? That's it. I'm done.
Congratulations, San Francisco. You've ruined pizza.
With The Good Dinosaur, though, we have a good candidate for the earliest point from which to work. The film asks, what if the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs had, in fact, missed Earth? And while it delivers its own introduction to that idea, the wider notion is that actually, all of Pixar could be happening thanks to this creation of an alternate timeline. From Brave through Cars, and to what's usually considered the latest occurring movie in the shared universe so far, Monsters, Inc., all of it is made possible because one piece of space rock missed.
Will you take the sacred oath of the...
For crying out loud.
Sweetie, turn the lights on while you're down here. You're going to ruin your eyes.
Mom, we're doing an initiation.
Oh, scary.
Number 9, 22's Destiny.
Hey, is this heaven?
No.
Is it H-E double hockey sticks?
Hell, 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 hell.
In Soul, we have a tale that's really above and beyond the timelines of Earth, dealing as it does with life, death, and everything in between. However, the big question comes at the movie's close, when the once implacable 22 is inspired to find her spark. And so, she heads back down to Earth to, well, to what? Who could she become? Possibly more so than with any other Pixar theory in the 2020s, fans are divided.
Yeah, this place is worse than I thought. It's loud and bright and... What is that in my nose?
That smell. And if you think that's good, just imagine what it tastes like.
One of the leading candidates is May from Turning Red, someone who matches a lot of what we see from 22. Plus, Turning Red came out in 2022, so for some, that's proof enough. Another whispered possibility, though, is Russell from Up, mostly due to his and 22's shared need for badges. Failing that, could Riley be 22? The pull of sadness does seem to be strong with both.
Unless it becomes an Earth pass, I'm stuck with it.
Number 8, Bing Bong is a monster. Yes, he's the driving force behind one of the saddest moments in Pixar history, but before all of that, could the imaginary Bing Bong have been a real-life monster? This theory starts quite simply, with fans noticing that Bing Bong looks a lot like he could have been in Monsters, Inc., with comparisons especially between him and George Sanderson.
Hey, thanks guys, that was a close one.
There are two crucial parts to this though. First, if every kid has a monster, then Riley must have had one too. Second, if the monsters ultimately learn that laughter is better than fear, then Bing Bong really fits the bill. Riley remembers him as an imaginary friend because she grows up to assume that monsters aren't real, but of course we know they are. And if anything, the fact that Bing Bong vanishing could also stand for Riley's link to Monsters Inc. disappearing as well makes that scene even sadder.
Take her to the moon for me, okay?
Number 7. Elemental is fundamental.
How can I help you?
All of this and the sparklers are buy one, get one free?
That's right.
Great. I'll just take the free one.
Oh, no, see, you need to buy one to get one free.
But I just want the free one.
Sorry, that's not how this works.
Cast your mind back to just a couple of entries ago, and the theory was that the good dinosaur was a starting point for everything. But naturally, something still has to come before that potentially pivotal non-asteroid fork in the road, and that something could be elemental. In the film, we follow the elements, and mostly Ember, through their trials and tribulations in Element City.
It's true love, which is more than I ever smelled on this one.
Oh, goody, this old chestnut.
Yep, nothing. Just a loveless, sad future of sadness.
This is a world that presumably plays out at a much smaller scale than in most other Pixar stories, with the notable exception of Inside Out. Here, the characters are essentially the tiniest parts of reality, the base building blocks for life, the universe, and everything. Even the asteroid that missed needs the elements in order to exist. So while really elemental could be happening at any time, it also could just be that it all unfolds long, long before every single other thing.
I made you a painting. It's of a lonely man awash in sadness.
Number 6. Boo is the Witch.
Boo. Kitty.
It's been a short while since we last looked closely at how the shared universe in general would work, so let's get back to it with what's possibly the keystone piece, Boo. In Monsters Inc., she's a 2-year-old searching for the monster she adores, but in Brave, almost every theory out there argues that she is the witch. The idea is that Boo's search for Sully has taken her all across time and space, forever in search of the magic that's needed to reunite with her magical friend. Along the way, she gains unparalleled wisdom and unmatched powers, and she sprinkles this throughout the events we see in all the other films.
A kid flew right over me and blasted a car with its laser vision.
I tried to run from it, but it picked me up with its mind powers and shook me like a doll.
It's true! I saw the whole thing!
But ultimately, Boo becomes the mysterious figure that Merida meets in medieval Scotland, completing something of a time loop to set things in motion all over again.
That's it. I'm out of ideas. We're closed. Hot air balloon, too expensive. Giant slingshot, too conspicuous. Enormous wooden horse, too Greek.
Number 5. Nemo Isn't Real.
No offense, kid, but you're not the best swimmer.
He's fine. He can do this. So, Sharkbait, what do you think?
Let's do it.
Okay, so this one really doesn't fit in with any other unified theory, but it has routinely set the internet ablaze. The suggestion that everyone's favorite clownfish might never have existed at all is tough to take, but those who back the theory say that finding Nemo might really be all about Marlin, Nemo's father, dealing with the 5 stages of grief.
No, he's gone.
It's all right.
He's gone.
It'll be okay.
No, they took him away.
The barracuda that kills his family at the beginning actually doesn't leave behind a single egg. Nemo is never actually born, and Marlin's journey across the ocean is only ever about him coming to terms with the incredible tragedy. The kicker? Nemo translates from Latin to mean nobody. There is some kickback as well, though. After all, the animals in the dentist's fish tank weren't talking to nobody, were they? It's an interesting idea nonetheless.
Would you look at that? Filthy. Absolutely filthy. That's all thanks to you, kid. You made it possible. Jacques, I said no cleaning.
I'm ashamed.
Number 4. Cars Killed Humans.
It is our job and our pleasure to take care of the travelers on our stretch of that road.
Travelers? What travelers?
Ignore him.
Back to the wider theories, and in the earliest days, both Cracked and John Negroni paid special attention to cars. Here, sentient vehicles exist in a world where humans don't, but we know that their world is still Earth, thanks to various and often literal signs. The assumption then is that humans disappeared, with it generally accepted that the last of them were sent on a journey into space, as seen in WALL-E. The slightly lighter interpretation is that pollution is what did in the humans, mostly fueled by all the nasty, commercial, money-grabbing must-haves produced through By and Large. But there is another, even darker view. with suggestions that it was the cars themselves that killed the humans that used to drive them.
Oh, he's just a little bit shy and he hates you for killing his flowers.
I shouldn't have to put up with this. I'm a precision instrument of speed and aerodynamics.
As their self-driving sentience increased, they simply didn't need us anymore, which paved the way, eventually, for the life and times of Lightning McQueen.
Mia, I'm Tia. We're like your biggest fans. Good job!
Number 3, Carl Fredricksen has died. Has there ever been a sadder death than Ellie's death in Up? Very possibly, no, there hasn't. But one theory says that her tragic passing was quickly followed by another, Carl's. The idea goes that at some point near the beginning of the movie, perhaps in his sleep after the courts rule against him, telling him to move, Carl dies, and the rest of the film is his journey to the afterlife.
Tell your boss he can have our house. Really? When I'm dead. I'll take that as a maybe.
His house with balloons is his vessel. Russell the Wilderness Explorer is his guardian angel. Paradise Falls is his heaven. Doug the dog doesn't exactly fit. But all the elements to this story do ultimately combine to deliver Carl some peace. And if Russell really is an angel, then he certainly earns his wings. He did earn his badge, so yeah.
Russell, for assisting the elderly and for performing above and beyond the call of duty, I would like to award you the highest honor I can bestow, the Ellie Badge.
Wow. Number 2, Pizza Planet Time Machine.
I'm gonna be sick.
If time travel does exist in Pixar, then the doors in Monsters, Inc. are one of the best routes through which it might be achieved. However, there's another one-off vehicle that could double up as a time machine too.
Come on, man, hurry up. I'm like, the pizzas are getting cold here.
Cutting Boulevard.
Yeah, which way?
Now, you're sure this space freighter will return to its port of origin once it jettisons its food supply?
Uh-huh. And when we get there, we'll be able to find a way to transport you home.
Well then, let's climb aboard.
Like the Luxo Ball and A113, the Pizza Planet truck is everywhere. It's a harder spot in some movies than in others, but it almost always can be found. True, this could simply mean that the cultural impact and general appetite for pizza is an immovable fact of life, but there are some claims toward it actually being an ever-present because the truck is the key. It's what really knits the movies together, which leads to the question, who's driving it? Perhaps Boo the Witch also doubles up to deliver fast food? Or maybe that unseen guy in Toy Story was the mastermind all along.
Safer in the cockpit than the cargo bay. What an idiot.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. The toy's original owners.
You saved the day again, Woody.
You're my favorite deputy.
Appropriately enough, we finish at the start, if only in terms of the movie's order of release. First, there's the question of Woody, Andy's original favorite toy. We know he's rare, we know he's somewhat old-fashioned, so it figures for some that he once belonged to Andy's father, the same guy who potentially triggered everything that happens in Onward, based on an earlier theory. And maybe it's a bit of a stretch, but could the wood in Woody be significant too?
Everyone knows your name, Woody.
Given the whole wood is magic angle, what's far more entrenched in Pixar legend is the possible origin for the star of Toy Story 2, Jessie. For years, it has been suggested that Jessie's old owner, Emily, could be Andy's mother. The writers have themselves denied this one, but fans just haven't let it go. Quite how Buzz fits into the picture? Well, that part still needs filling in.
You are a toy! You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear, you're an action figure! You are a child's plaything!
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
Which Pixar fan theory is your favorite? Or do you have another theory of your own? As always, let us know in the comments.
That was totally wicked!
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.